Wow, the sound is really delayed.
Hi, y'all, it's me, Admiral.
I'm back here with Apollo, Justice Ace Attorney, and I'm wearing my Edgeworth shirt. Hold it! With my Mia and Gato mouse pad, so basically I've geekified myself up enough that this should be an easy task, beating this game. Come on, I've got the mouse pad. In our last episode, we just began the very first cross-examination of the very first trial that we are doing without a mentor present, which is cool. I mean, Trucy's here, but it's different. She's not that kind of mentor. She can only teach us magic, although, you know, magic wouldn't be unhelpful here. I'm also just noticing that his hair is like dyed, but it's supposed to be like little kitsune fox ears or whatever. I don't know what this thing in the middle is doing, or why he's jittering up and down like that. Is that? I thought that was sands on his mask for a minute, but it's definitely not. Or his mask, his shirt. Anyways, let me just go back to the beginning and just recap this testimony he's giving about the doctor whom he killed, allegedly, which he didn't. Just so we're clear. I didn't say that in the court of law. You can't say that I did. You cannot trust me to say what I'm thinking, okay? I can't be held responsible for that. I'll tell you one thing, that doctor was a quacker. Someone had to show him what's what. I was in his clinic about a half a year ago. He messed up my op something bad, and then he just lets me go without a word. See you later, bye. So I gotta go in, get another doctor to patch me up again. That was the day I done figured it out. No OG's gonna let that pass. That's what I went to his pad that night. Know what I'm saying? I didn't find any specific contradictions in that, except I was a little weirded out when he says I went to his pad, but then he kind of is like, oh, but I met him in the park. But I'll just press on every single point to see if we can get any more out of him from all this.
Hold it! First of all, the word you're looking for is quack. And isn't that a little harsh? He's your family doctor. Who asked you, Pointylocks? Just who do you think you are? You're your lawyer? Look, I ain't trying to hear that. He was a quacker, plain and simple.
I mean, does sound more like you're actually literally calling him a duck, but whatever. Someone had to show him what's what.
Hold it! What makes you say that? By someone, you mean... Was there anyone with a score to settle with this doctor? Besides you, I mean. You better ask somebody else, Holmes. What do I care? I made up my own mind and did what had to be done, straight gangsta style.
But why? I'm surprised the trial hasn't already ended, and the judge is just like, I'm sorry, Apollo, you're screwed. But why were you so mad at this doctor?
Yo, sit back and listen while I drop it, J-Man.
J-Man. Sorry. Okay, I promise I'll get it out of my in a second. I wasn't expecting it to be... Okay, sorry. I'm too giggly at the moment. Okay, I think I'm good. J-Man. I was in his clinic about half a year ago. He messed up my op something bad. I think we might already press on this one. I'm just gonna press on them all anyways. Yes, this one we already did. He got shot in the heart. There have been instances in the other games where you have to press on them in a certain order. Like you press on this one first, and that gives you information that will help you when you press on that one. And then he just lets me go without a word. See you later, bye.
Hold it! What do you mean he just let you go without a word? What do you think it means? It's whack, that's what.
I'm not sure what that means, but it sounds bad. It sounds as though Herr Doctor wished to hide his mistake. This is why he let the defendant go.
He's a liar, straight up! He's a badder G than me!
How do you just let someone go with a bullet in their heart, or close to their heart? So I gotta go and get another.
Hold it! So this bullet is still? You know it! I can still feel it.
Wait, so you didn't get another doctor to patch you up? Okay.
Right there in my chest, pressing up against my heart.
Your words are like a bullet shot straight into my heart. Or something to that effect. Incidentally, that's from one of our hit singles. Well, that sounds like a straightforward case of malpractice.
Word, J-Man. We're no accident, that's for shizzle.
Okay, that's what advanced it. It seems that there were issues with this doctor.
Man, putting him down was like doing the world a favor. Stop saying that shit. Walkie, please consult your lawyer before saying things like that.
Chin up, Apollo. Back straight. But why did this mistake only come to light that day? It was found during the family health checkup.
The family checkup?
That's not good, because the family is crime family. I imagine they had words to say about that.
That was the wackest thing of all. All us G's lining up, taking eye exams and all that. Better to die young than to fade away bizoy.
If he says bizoy one more time, I think I'm going to riot. A relief to hear.
Huh? What's a relief?
Oh? Did your father not tell you? That bullet you carry so close to your heart? if not attended to immediately, it could kill you.
What?
Yes, here Dr. Maractus had knowledge concerning this sticking time bomb in you. I think that's not exactly news that a bullet in your heart is not a good call to keep around, but knowledge that could have saved your life.
No way! That's whacked!
There are other words, Walkie. There is proof. Your checkup report. Walkie's checkup report added to the court record. Oh dear. More evidence. Document submitted as evidence by Prosecutor Gavin. I would like a look at that. Results from a checkup performed in June. Metallic object found in your heart. That's not that, huh? Wait a second. That's very inspecific. Patient's name Pt.8, age 19, male. That holds up with what I know. Report filed June 14th. Yesterday. Metallic object found near heart. Urgent exam needed.
The report was filed yesterday. When the matter happened.
That's weird. How ironic that you would kill the one man capable of helping you. In fact, so ironic that it seems improbable. It's shocking how that turns out. You were almost as careless as he was. Well, now that the place is hopping, let's get this gig started. Started? We've had enough of a warm-up act, yeah? Time to hear from the witness. Walkie sure is quiet all of a sudden. I'm a little uneasy myself. No shit. Is this Gavin's strategy? Well, I mean, it plays into it somehow. Oh, hello? So, you will tell us your name and occupation. After you kiss that book, I take it. I don't even know where to begin with a voice for this one.
My name is Wesley Stickler.
What the hell am I looking at here? Oh my god, he's already speaking under which definition I must confess to being unemployed. However, we must acknowledge the meaning of identity, which is commonly attached to this notion of occupation, and once we have accepted this reality, we see that our confusion is not gestalt per se, but derives instead from the vagueness inherent in all representations of, by which he means to say that he is a student. A junior at Ivy University, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, small world. That's where Phoenix went to for studying art. Before he went to do law school.
Yes, and the Department of Science and Engineering, filled with curiosity for all things, I spend my days in the pursuit of truth, honing my hair stickler.
That wasn't Gavin's voice at all. Hair stickler, please direct said curiosity to the case at hand today.
Very well, Mr. Stickler. Please testify to the court about what you saw on the night of the crime.
This is the witness that was mentioned, but we never got to meet.
You asked quite simplistically what I saw. However, you must understand that Homo sapiens possess two eyes, each of which is designed to receive and interpret data, sending images in the form of signals to them.
Okay, I can see this is going to be an awkward testimony to pick through. Oh, was his name Webster Stickler? What? Hang on, I can person when I'm not in exam mode. What is this dude's name? Wesley Stickler, not Webster. The witness, a man concerned with truth. 22. I love that this is Walkie's profile pic. He's like, ah! Fourth boss of the Kentucky family, Walkie's father wears an apron. Don't ask. Well, Apollo almost made that mistake early on. Okay.
That night, I passed through the park on my way home from shopping when I saw them. One man pulling a stand, another man facing him. I saw them quite clearly. The man facing the victim was the defendant. In his hand, he held, yes, a pistol. It was pointed at the man pulling the stand. A shot! The bullet hit the man pulling the stand from the front, square in the forehead.
Well, that's not quite true. It was in the right temple, so it's square in the forehead. I don't know, is that...
Was there anyone else in the park at that time? I can say with 100% accuracy,
maybe,
that there was not.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty... I don't think you could know that. The pistol our witness refers to is this.
The court accepts this into evidence.
We got that. Oh my god, we're having so much. Pistol out of court record.
Very well, Mr. Justice. You may cross-examine the witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Trucy? Why are you staring like that at the witness?
That man. I can't help but feel I've seen him somewhere before. At one of your shows, maybe? I'm trying to think of anywhere that I haven't been that you have. Oh, he's not the thief, is he? Of your precious prop? Because that would be a concern and make this all very, very strange. Okay, I'm pretty sure what I'm getting at here is that he says square in the temple, or square in the forehead, and that's not quite it, but I'm just going to see what the after dialogue for all this is. And by after dialogue, I mean, like, what happens when you skip through it all? This here.
He seems pretty confident in his testimony.
We always make the biggest mistakes when we're our most confident. He's got a weak point somewhere, Apollo. Find it.
Right. Better give that testimony another listen.
I don't need to give it another listen at all because this is the right one, yes. Okay, actually, I didn't even get a chance to look at this pistol though. Hang on. Weapon submitted as evidence by Prosecutor Gavin. Weapon left at this crime scene. 2 rounds were fired. Fingerprints were wiped. Okay, I was gonna say we should be able to be given a chance to dust it. Are there words on that? Oh, it's like Japanese characters. It's just gun stuff. The model number or whatever. There actually doesn't seem to be much we can really examine about this. Oh wait, hang on. Can I examine the barrel?
Whoa! Don't point that thing at me!
Don't worry, I can handle myself around guns. Oh my god. Magic guns, at least. The ones that pigeons come out of.
Very reassuring.
So the prints were wiped, but 2 shots were fired seems pertinent, because I only think they mentioned... He just says a shot. So I see 2 inconsistencies here. Hang on. A shot. The bullet, 1. Okay, so I could at this point present either the autopsy report or the gun, I think. I'll start with the autopsy report because that seems like the most, it seems like, because he maybe is just not mentioned yet that there is a second shot fired. You could argue, you could perceivably say that, but.
Objection! Whew. If that's all of it, I think I have a chance.
Is that you relaxing, I see here, Justice?
Huh? Oh, objection!
Once is quite enough, Mr. Justice. Apollo, pace yourself. This trial's not over yet.
Right. Look at this.
The autopsy report? Is there a problem with the autopsy report?
Right. A problem. Problem. Yes! The problem is the location of the Andrew.
He's suddenly getting very panicked about all this. The location?
You testified that the killer shot the victim square in the forehead, did you not?
I have already determined that your angle of inquiry. Allow me to explain. It is quite simple. First, understand that when I say square, I speak not of geometrical absolute. What I do mean by this, well, for example, the deflection of a meter is 1.2, the wavelength of the light emitted by a krypton particle, as we all know. In addition, it is a well-known fact that the krypton particles are rare and invisible to the naked eye, which points to a basic fallacy in your line of reasoning, namely, that Mr. Justice.
Yes?
Was your objection to these, krypton particle things? This is the big time, and you are obsessed with something so small.
I don't know what voice that was.
This is the big time, and you are obsessed with something so small. You disappoint me.
No! I'm obsessed with big! Something big! I mean, there's a bigger, less nitpicky problem here.
Do tell.
Just look at the autopsy report. The location of the entry wound was the right temple.
Temple?
Mr. Stickler, you said quite clearly that the victim was shot square in the forehead. That's a contradiction, isn't it?
I love the hair just boom. It's like those things, those like door stoppers that the grand you, by which I mean me, always used to play with as a kid, where you like hit them and go boom. That's what his hair is like. Chatter, chatter, chatter.
It is, right? Finally.
All right there. Hair Justice. Oh, Hair Justice.
Yes?
Your tactics are outdated, trying to shake the witness by objecting to trifles. Surely you haven't forgotten the fatal wound your master suffered 7 years ago. Phoenix? Who you talk about? Phoenix Wright, was it?
Look, I know the wound was in the wrong place according to this testimony.
Nick. Hey, her forehead.
Huh? Forehead?
Let us imagine you are walking through the park. You see 2 men facing each other, one with a pistol trained on the other. What would you do, Hair Forehead?
Well, I guess I would try to stop them. I'd probably shout, "Stop!"
I would run away. Call the police or something.
And you, Fräulein?
Me? Well, I'd probably scream, "Eek!"
And you, Hair Stickler? What did you shout, I wonder?
Yeah, if the victim turned his head at the last moment.
Oh, yes. Thank you for jogging my memory.
It sounds like an addendum to the testimony is required.
Ah. Wait, an addendum or a whole new testimony? Oh, this is a whole new one. Okay.
As soon as the killer raised his pistol, I took action. "Cease this at once, you two!" I cried. With composure, the victim turned in the direction of my voice, and a shot rang out. Whereupon our cowardly killer, the defendant, appeared to have become frightened. Tossing the pistol aside, he fled from the scene.
So at what point were the prints wiped? What the hell? You mean to say that the forensics team wiped the prints? What?
I see. So you attempted to stop the crime.
Indeed, with composure.
Well, maybe the criminal wouldn't have fired if he hadn't shouted like that.
That doesn't really matter now, unfortunately.
Let us consider this new testimony, shall we?
Observe the diagram, if you would.
Oh boy, more of this physical stuff that I am the worst at. Sorry in advance.
The witness, Mr. Stickler, was it? Stood here. He shouted, "Oh, stop, please," or something of this nature. And the victim responded by looking in the witness's direction. If the killer were to have fired just that moment, as we can see, the bullet would have struck the right temple, as in the report.
Okay, I mean, they still testified wrong, but whatever.
That does seem to be the case.
Witness the power of a junior in Ivy University's Department of Science.
Very well, Mr. Justice. You may cross-examine the witness.
I still have several problems with this. First, we are only accounting for one of the shots that were fired from this gun. And secondly, I don't know how, at what point in this, if they ditched the gun immediately, at what point the prints got wiped. As soon as the killer raised his pistol, I took action. "Cease this at once, you two," I cried with composure. The victim turned in the direction of my voice, and a shot rang out. Whereupon our cowardly killer, the defendant, appeared to have become frightened. Tossing the pistol aside, he fled from the scene. I like that contradiction. Kinda sad to see it go.
Kinda sad as I feel. What do we do now?
At least the testimony is getting a little clearer.
She's right. Maybe I can find something to use in this new testimony.
Those are the most vague hints ever. I mean, I already have an idea of what to do, but if I didn't, I'd be like, what? That's so mean. Okay, I do, however, I am not quite... So, a shot rang out. I don't know whether that or tossing the pistol aside is where I say that 2 shots were fired. Because I feel like 2 shots are fired. Just saying a shot rang out, has this piece of testimony by itself does not say only 1 shot happened. And neither does this one, though. But together, they mean that only 1 shot happened, so I don't know which one to say that 2 shots happened with. Also, was there... let me just... Okay, no, we're not into this yet. We're also kind of moving away from the cart, so I don't know how that doesn't really... I don't have anything to go with that. As soon as the killer raised his pistol, I took action. Ceased at once, you two, I cried with composure. The victim turned to range from my voice. Okay. I'll just press on this, and maybe he'll add something like, "Yep, that was all that happened with that gun."
Hold it! You didn't try to apprehend the criminal?
No, of course not.
It all happened so fast, I'm afraid I hadn't the time.
Doesn't something about that strike you as odd, Apollo?
Huh. What?
The killer was in a hurry, right? He fired the pistol and tossed it right away.
According to the testimony, that's what happened, yes?
In that case, I'd expect to find something that we didn't find.
Find something? Find what?
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. You'd expect to find the fingerprints. Okay, well, one way or the other, presenting the gun here seems right. Because when would the prints have been wiped and there were 2 shots? Yeah, there's all kinds of things wrong with this, actually. I should have just started with that for sure.
Wait a second.
Another misleading request. Yet you're so beholden to your own mode of discourse that you can't see how it affects you.
Come again?
Wait a second, you say. A second? Are we intended to wait just that? A single second, 1/60th of a minute. That's hardly enough time to draw a breath, let alone make a statement in court. Now, had you asked for a longer period of time, say 3 minutes, 35 seconds, that...
Mr. Justice,
Yes, Your Honor?
am I to understand that you are objecting to the length of a second?
Yes! I mean, no! Here, just look at the pistol. It doesn't have a single fingerprint on it.
A common ploy made all the more common, I fear, by the prevalence of television. Criminals these days are loath to leave fingerprints.
Wait, but you said the killer tossed the gun and ran.
That's right. He didn't have time to wipe the gun for prints. You get him, Trucy.
The little girl sticking it to the university student. There's a song in there.
I'm not little.
Then let's think like adults, shall we, Fräulein? What if the killer, the defendant, was wearing gloves?
Well, it wasn't testified to, but whatever. I guess that could be. You could miss something like that in the dark. Gotta admit, I didn't think of that, Apollo. Even still, only 2 shots. We haven't accounted for that.
Well, Mr. Justice...
Could the killer have been wearing gloves?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming no way is where I have to go with this, but let me just see if there's anything that proves that is not a thing. Oh, well, but the knife fingerprints, the knife.
No way! The record of the murder weapon is very clear about one thing. The fingerprints were wiped, which means some trace of prints remained, which contradicts your testimony.
That is also true. Wiped is specifically that is I was kind of not connecting that right there. But also we know that why would there be there's so much wrong with this. The knife also had fingerprints, and it was also at the scene of the crime. Not to mention we still haven't any kind of accounting for that. No one's mentioned the knife so far. This is actually surprisingly looking up in our favor, the way I see it. There's so much wrong with what they're saying.
If everything happened as you say it did, he wouldn't have had time to wipe the pistol.
What, are you looking through your notes to find what contradicts that?
That may be, but it does not change what I saw. The killer, the defendant. He threw down the murderous weapon from his hand and fled. And this pistol was found at the scene of the crime, strongly suggesting that this was the weapon he disposed of.
Yeah, well, yeah, not wrong.
That sounds solid to me. Well, Herr Forehead, any of your precious objections?
What gives, Apollo? Let's see that voice training go to work.
You know, I've only recently realized something. No matter how much you train your voice, it doesn't matter if you have nothing to say.
What do you mean, nothing to say? Isn't it obvious from what the witness just said?
Huh? Isn't what obvious?
When he restated what he saw just now, he said he saw Walkie drop a murderous weapon. But that's not the same as being 100% sure of what Walkie threw away.
You're right.
He's just confused because a pistol was found at the scene. Just the scene. Poor Mr. Stickler. It must be hard to be so perfect and yet so wrong.
Well, it can be said that I'm quite offended. Well, it is indeed true that once in my youth I was seized by the teacher and posted to the blackboard. The application of poor might be exiled name, but
What we can say for certain is that the witness saw the killer throw something. Does the defense have anything to say about this?
well, if what he threw wasn't a pistol, then it had to be something else. Deductive reasoning. Thanks, Trucy.
At least one person on the defense team seems to be thinking.
I'll wipe that smile off your pretty face, Gavin.
Can you keep... I love how the game goes like it's either like sort of deep and well seated, how like the romantic undertones are either like seated underneath all these layers of character development, or they're just like, I am so attracted to you. in Apollo's case.
Perhaps you can inform the court as to the nature of this something else. What did the killer throw away before fleeing the scene?
Well, more likely the knife, because that actually has fingerprints. Wait, am I underthinking that? Let me just go with my gut on this one.
Take that!
Is that a sword?
Yes.
I saw one of those on the late night movie last night.
Great, a sleep-deprived judge. This knife was found at the scene of the crime, with the defendant's prints on it.
His prints?
The single piece of evidence proves two important things. One, that what the defendant threw down wasn't a pistol. Two, that the defendant wasn't wearing gloves.
Okay, so I did kind of follow my logic on that. I'm glad I'm not like totally off the ball on this.
Indeed.
Oh, Herr Forehead, you're forgetting two other things you've just proven.
Huh?
Well, that he had a weapon.
One, that the man the witness saw was the defendant, Mr. Waki-Kataki.
Well, that was pretty... I mean, his fingerprints are on the scene. What was I... The evidence already proved that.
Two, that the defendant was holding a knife with the intent of harming the victim.
Yes, that one I did pick up on that I just proved.
Oh!
Indeed.
Never underestimate... Never speak right. Never underestimate a Gavin is the lesson here.
This court is of the opinion that our witness is fond of making assumptions. In that light, I believe it would behoove us to hear about what really occurred. With less assuming, please.
Yes, well, you've got it all written down. Surely you can... Oh, okay. Or slam the book. Not even gonna read the notes, that's fine.
It is always the same with you people. Mark left the house on foot, and 5 minutes later, his brother left after him. How long would it take for Mark's brother to... Oh, it's one of these. Okay. How long would it take for Mark's brother to catch up to him, assuming that Mark never had to stop for a traffic light? Assuming... Yes, that's what I said. Assuming. As if that were a probable situation at all. And here you are, assuming that my assumption is no better.
Just testify, man. You give me a headache.
What this court assumes is that the witness will testify as to what happened after the shot was fired.
Shot. Still singular shot. Bear that in mind. The longer you go testifying that there was only one shot, the worse it gets for you, man. From shot to call.
I could not prevent the
Tempo pickup. So at least we're getting to the end of this little arc of it. I don't know if this is going to be a case that lasts multiple days. I think most of them after the first one usually are. You investigate one day, trial the next day, but a trial goes for a maximum of 3 days. You'll see. I mean, you do see. You understand. Never mind.
I could not prevent the killer from leaving the scene, nor could I simply leave the scene in good conscience. Ergo, I used my cell phone to call the police.
Oh, is this... Damn, I've never met you before, so I guess that makes sense that I wouldn't have been able to show you this. Although, but I mean, I'm only guessing this is your cell phone, just because you mentioned a cell phone and you're one of the characters I haven't shown it to yet. It could be someone else's that I haven't met, I guess. But then Trucy did have that whole thing about mentioning that they're not a very details-oriented person, likely, if they have a watch attached to their phone, which already has a clock on it. So I guess that doesn't really hold up with this guy here. Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Until the police arrived at the scene 10 minutes later, I saw no one else.
Oh, that was nice and short. There were only like 4 lines there.
Why didn't you chase the killer?
He was, as you say, a killer.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm with you on that one, Wesley.
Of course, I could have run him down, yet what would he have done when cornered? Sadly, it takes more than aptitude for solving quadratic equations to know that,
And I can't solve quadratic equations very well. I don't really know that that's pertinent.
Did the testimony earlier not prove the defendant's presence at the scene? And do we not also now know that there was no one else there?
It seems clear that we have our killer. Does it not?
Does it not, Mr. Justice?
I'd better find a way to take this testimony down quick.
No joke. Even though we still have a fair bit of, for lack of a less violent term, ammunition in this, I would say. I'm not out of ideas yet. I could not prevent the killer from leaving the scene, nor could I simply leave the scene in good conscience. Ergo, I used my cell phone to call the police. Until the police arrived at the scene 10 minutes later, I saw no one else.
This witness is way too self-assured. There's gotta be a weakness in there somewhere in his testimony.
Okay. I think 10 minutes is probably going to be important because we know roughly when they died at 10:15 and 10:45, so maybe we can ask when the call was made. Or maybe that's what Apollo will have the context to ask.
Hold it! Can you tell us in detail about these 10 minutes?
I stood in a state of heightened awareness. Anything could happen at any moment. Anyone could appear from any direction. They didn't, though.
Is that all?
No one came. Nothing happened at all. I saw it all, which is to say, I saw nothing.
I didn't realize he was doing a bit of a last poor Yorick there. It was very dramatic.
It was late at night. It's not odd to think that there would be a few people around in the park.
I can't see my mouse. Oh, there it is.
So we just stood there watching? Not much to go on there. Trucy, if you've got something to say, by all means say it.
Oh, I guess she's trying to figure out where she knows him from. I'm starting to think that maybe she knows him from the snatching, because that would mean he has a legit, what's the opposite of an alibi? We accuse him of being somewhere else during that time, for whatever reason. Okay, I'll just press on all these points anyways, because I'm not sure exactly which one I need to.
Hold it! Please stop!
One time he just doesn't say hold it.
Which way did the killer run?
By that time, it was clear the killer had noticed me. Naturally, he ran in the opposite direction.
That would mean he ran in the opposite direction from the Kitaki mansion.
Achtung! Don't even think about pointing out that he was going away from his home. All he had to do was loop back once he was out of sight.
Sure, fair enough.
Ugh, how did he know that's where I was going?
Trucy just, I'm thinking.
Hold it!
That was like 60-year-old Apollo.
Hold that! You are certainly composed for someone who had just witnessed a killing.
If one is to devote one's life to the pursuit of science, one must never flinch at the sight of a little blood.
Okay.
Nor be so moved by a chemical discovery that one drops one's flask upon.
I understand what you're saying here, but I can't say it.
Ooh, cool answer. Very cool.
So nothing strange about how he acted. Trucy looks like she has something to say.
Can I, address Trucy?
Hold it! Wasn't your first thought to call an ambulance? An ambulance?
It can be said that I have dabbled in medicine.
Does not make you a first responder.
The injury I witnessed, namely a single shot to the head, tends to result in death.
Okay, fair.
Ergo, there was no need for me to call an ambulance. Oh, a perfect syllogism. A proof in 3 parts, exquisite, simply exquisite.
Syllogism, I do know the definition of that word. Or I did, like yesterday. I looked it up yesterday for reasons, but I can't remember what it means. I think it means syllogism is just like the relational truth of 2 things. One is true, therefore the other is something like that. A proof in 3 parts. I didn't. What 3 parts? You saw a man shot in the head. You didn't call an ambulance. That's 2, if you ask me. But maybe I missed one.
He actually looks like he's gonna cry. I can't find a single problem with that testimony.
I bet you Trucy comes in here and she's like, I know where he's from. Oh, what if he attended the Wonder Show? And so that's why he did, so him being there for 10 minutes straight doesn't work, or something like that. Oh my gosh. That would be so cool if that's what it was.
Had enough at last, hair forehead?
Maybe it's time to back off a bit? No. The defense still has some questions that demand answers, Your Honor.
Your opinion, Prosecutor Gavin?
Fuck, why, no, don't defer to him. He has an of course you know what he's gonna.
I'll let him play attorney until he's satisfied, I say.
Well, okay, thank you, Gavin.
I will amuse myself by composing my next smash hit in my head.
Very well. You may continue with the cross-examination.
Oh. Maybe I was supposed to say that I can't do any more here. Well, let me save. Not that it'll put me back too far, but then I'll try that again.
Maybe there isn't anything left to unravel in this testimony after all.
Some of us have glamorous careers we'd like to get back to this month, hair forehead.
They don't have enough to put Walkie away yet. Should I back off for now?
Okay, now it seems like a probable yes.
There's nothing fishy about that testimony at all.
It appears there are no objections to the witness's current testimony.
There are any number of ways to explain the lack of prints on the pistol, I assure you.
Enlighten me. I am not aware of them.
Perhaps the killer really was wearing gloves which wiped the previous user's prints off.
Oh, as opposed to wiping his prints off. I see what you're saying.
Then after the deed was done, this fell out of his pocket as he was throwing his gun away.
Okay, fair enough. I guess that could happen.
A mistake befitting of a small-time punk, in my opinion.
No! No!
Well, it's not over. He just gave one reasonable point.
It seems we've come to the end of the line here.
What?
No.
No! That can't be all!
Well, I mean, I still have questions to ask, but obviously for the story, we must let it play out this way so we can have a dramatic reel where Trucy saves the day. I take it that's what's going on here, which I'm all for, to be honest. Please help me.
How unfortunate. It seems that you weren't cut out to stand on the same stage as me. Were you, hair forehead?
Not unless it was a stage of... No, I don't have a retort.
I believe this brings the cross-examination to a close. This court will now declare a verdict for the defendant, Walkie Kataki.
Hold it!
Whoever, I'm guessing Trucy. Yes. Whoa, what the hell?
Trucy?
Nobody move.
What's the meaning of this? Who are you?
There'll be no verdict in this court. Not yet.
Wait! Are you one of the Katakis?
The Katakis? You mean the notorious gangsters?
Okay, this did not go where I thought it was.
If you don't want to see me give the pretty little girl a new smile, do as I say. Adjourn the court for 20 minutes.
What? This court will now not bow to the pressure from the likes of...
Herr Judge, I see little point in further aggravating this gentleman. Recess, 20 minutes, or I promise you'll regret it.
Then they just disappeared.
Wait! How'd he disappear so fast?
There were no brrrts, so I'm assuming that's like she's speaking to me with telepathy, so I just won't say that line.
I suppose I have no choice but to adjourn for a 20-minute recess. Bailiff, catch that mysterious man!
This has got to be the only Ace Attorney case I have ever played where someone jumps into the courtroom in the middle of it and kidnaps one of the involved.
The hell is going on here?
June 16th, 11:17 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
Trucy! Trucy!
You move quick, Apollo. Good show, good show.
Wait, that might have been Trucy saying that.
Trucy, you're okay. I thought...
Don't cry, Apollo!
Yeah, those good-for-nothing gangsters. There are some things you just don't do. I'm pressing charges.
Wait, just calm down, Apollo, or else...
Ah, what the heck is that?
Surprised? This is one of my best tricks, the amazing Mr. Hat. Was it you? No way. Were you ventriloquizing yourself? What the hell is going on right now? I am losing my mind. This is one of my best tricks, the amazing Mr. Hat. You look marvelous, darling. He's a big hit on stage at the Wonder Bar. Yes, I am a big hit. Well, what do you think? Do you like it?
You mean you... Trucy! There are some things you just don't do. I'm pressing charges.
Apollo, now is not the time to be threatening me. It's you who's being threatened here.
Huh?
Remember what you said to Waki's father yesterday? You promised you'd save his son.
But that testimony was rock solid. What are you suggesting I do?
Look, once the judge declares a verdict, it's all over. If I can use my talent to stop that from happening, I will.
Trucy, no more staged abductions, please.
I'm not talking about magic, Apollo. I know when the witness isn't confident. I can perceive what he's feeling. It might not mean anything, but it's all we've got.
You can see what he's feeling?
Oh, cool. So the ability that Apollo expressed in that first trial is something that that's what Phoenix was talking about when he was like, Trucy's a genius. You'll see what I'm talking about. That's cool. I wonder if maybe then Apollo was able to activate it before because he was like in proximity to Phoenix, who I assume also has it. I mean, just to be fair, this game gets into the series gets into like spirits and like resurrection and stuff. So it's not the most outlandish thing. That's cool. So maybe now that he's got proximity to Trucy, he might be able to use the ability too. Or at some point. Think back, Apollo. Think back to the times when there was a contradiction in his testimony. All the times. I wasn't looking for the tell. But I guess, I mean, they'll probably pick it out.
All the times there was a contradiction?
I can stop recording the video and then go look at them. But that will take too long, so I'll just...
I don't remember, sorry. Please tell me. Actually, I don't remember them exactly.
Good thing I do. There were 2 times when he made statements that he wasn't confident. It'll be something like his eyes went white, or like he did the crying thing, or he flipped the pages or whatever. And each time there was a contradiction. In his hand, he held, yes, a pistol. Oh, sorry, this is Stickler.
In his hand, he held, yes, a pistol. It was pointed at the man pulling a stand. Tossing the pistol aside, he fled from the scene.
Is it the book? Okay. He said the man tossed aside a pistol, but it turned out he wasn't sure. And sure enough, there was a contradiction.
Well, that's true, but how does that help us?
Didn't you notice anything? Whenever he made a statement he wasn't confident in, he displayed a certain habit.
In his hand, he held, yes, a pistol. It was pointed at the man pulling the stand.
Did you see it? The very moment he said the word pistol, his fingers got all tense and he fiddled with the corner of the page in his book.
How am I supposed to see that?
Well, I could see it. How else do you think Daddy went 7 years without losing a game of poker?
What?
Oh, I guess that would do it. I always sat next to Daddy during his big matches. Well, that's the end of that. Oh, okay. I thought we were... I could see what his opponents were feeling. So she's like a mega empath at this point, with all her training. like a weaponized empath.
You mean that's how Mr. Wright won all those games?
It's not cheating officially. I wasn't looking at their hands or anything. And I wasn't there all the time either. Daddy's quite good at poker after all, but not good enough to go undefeated that long.
Great, so we cheated. But what does that do for us? I don't believe this.
You have to listen to his testimony one more time. No, scratch that. You have to watch his testimony. Watch his testimony. Perceive the truth.
Watch a testimony? Perceive the truth? The only thing I'm perceiving is that I'm gonna lose.
Not true. Daddy said so. He said you have the power, Apollo.
Mr. Wright said that? about me? Watch the testimony. Perceive his true feelings. Is she serious?
Time's up. Sorry I can't think of any other way out of this one, Apollo.
What was that she said before the trial started? Mr. Wright's not here today?
He said his old foot injury was acting up. Yes, he smiled when he said we'd be fine as long as you're there, Trucy.
Is this what he meant by us being fine? Well, methods aside, she did avoid one guilty verdict already today.
I don't understand what you just said.
Time to show this court what I'm made of. Get ready for justice!
As opposed to here comes justice. New catchphrase, I like it.
Let's do it. Apollo, you know, I'm starting to think I can do this.
I knew you could do it all along. Oh, one more thing. Try to cover for Mr. Hat as best you can. I just flew in from the coast, and boy are my arms tired.
Right.
June 16th, 11:40 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Was that really 20 minutes? I didn't check what the time was when we left.
Court is now back in session.
Right, we're fine!
I'd like to say that to the young lady standing next to you, Mr. Justice.
Oh, you mean me?
Don't you have anything to report? Anything concerning the mysterious phantom in the silk top hat?
Ah, right, him! Don't you worry about him, I settled that.
You settled that?
Yes, it was an out-of-court settlement. Right.
Perhaps Fräulein would have us believe it was nothing more than a passing dream. A fantastic illusion. Now you see it, now you don't. Am I right? I think he's onto me.
I wish he would stop being so cool.
Sorry. I love this game's dialogue so much. The characters are all so like they're just like so vulnerable at all times, and it's awesome. It's just there's so much you can do with the writing when you make your characters that sensitive. Let us dispense with these niceties and get straight to the matter.
What are your plans for our gifted witness?
I don't think that was Stickler who said that. I think that's probably Clavier, but I'm just gonna pretend that he just referred to himself in the third person.
Right. The defense would like to request another cross-examination because I forgot to ask something.
I did actually forget to ask some things about how many shots went off and such, so he's not entirely wrong. But not being entirely wrong doesn't mean that this episode isn't ending here. That was the worst segue in the world. Thank you very much for watching. I am so hyped to continue this game. This game picks up a lot after the first case, I'd say. I'm really enjoying it at this point. I'm interested to see how... I'm still very interested to see how, if there's anything more with Kristoff, because there must be, right? And all the more on Trucy and Phoenix. Like, what the heck is actually going on there? Because we still don't have any good answers. She's just like, I'm his daughter. And then it's like, no, you are not. And that's more or less all we have on that. And so hopefully we'll get all those answers and more next time on Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Thank you very much for coming around. Hopefully I will see you around. Admiral's going to be out of here. Peace. Go for it. Canada. Boom. Sorry, Day and Soldier number 54. It ain't personal. It's just that you tried to invade my kingdom and stuff. Oh, nice level, dude.